Once upon a time, in a village, there was a 12-year-old boy who lived with his parents. One day, after many years, the boy visited his grandfather's village. There, he spent all his time playing with his grandfather. While playing, one day he said to his grandfather, "Grandfather, when I grow up, I will become very successful. Can you tell me some ways to achieve success?" His grandfather smiled, looked towards him, and said, "Yes." Then he took him to a plant shop where small plants were available. His grandfather bought 2 small plants and returned home. After coming home, he planted one of the plants in a big pot and placed it inside the house. The other plant he planted outside the house. Then he asked his grandson, "What do you think? Which plant will grow better in the future?" The boy thought for a while and replied, "The plant we planted inside the house will grow better, because it will be safe from all problems. The plant we planted outside is at risk from many things, such as harsh sunlight, storms, heavy rains, and even animals." His grandfather smiled and said, "Let's see in the future what happens to these 2 plants." 4 years later, the boy visited his grandfather's house again. After seeing his grandfather, he eagerly asked, "Grandfather, last time I asked you how to become successful in life, but you didn't tell me. Now you have to tell me?" His grandfather smiled and said, "Of course, but first, let's check on the 2 plants we planted years ago." Saying this, his grandfather took him to the place where they had kept the plant inside the house. They saw that it had grown into a big plant. Then they went to the place where they had planted the other plant outside. They saw that the small plant had now become a huge and mighty tree. Its branches were strong and long, and its shade covered the entire ground. Now, the boy's grandfather looked at him and asked, "Tell me, which plant has grown bigger and stronger? Which plant has become more successful?" The boy replied, "The plant we planted outside." "But grandfather, how is this possible? This plant must have faced many dangerous situations and problems, yet how did it grow into such a massive tree?" His grandfather looked at him and said, "You are right. The plant we planted outside faced many problems, but by dealing with those problems it became so big and mighty. Now it can spread its branches as much as it wants. The storms and heavy rains that once seemed like threats have made its branches even stronger. That is why today it has become such a massive tree, and now all those problems seem small in front of it." Then his grandfather looked at him and said, "Son, always remember one thing. Until you struggle in life, until you go through difficulties, you cannot achieve success. If you always choose comfort in life, you will never grow as much as you truly can. But if you are always ready to face problems and struggles, then no goal will be impossible for you, and one day, even the biggest problems will seem small to you." Hearing this, the boy took a deep breath and kept looking at the massive tree. His grandfather's words echoed in his mind. Friends, we often see problems, obstacles, and difficulties as our enemies in life. But these very obstacles and difficulties make us stronger and help us become more successful in life. And as someone once said, if you're not facing any problems in life, then understand that you are on the wrong track.